What's going on, guys? It's Mr. Nettles, aka Dwayne Nettles, here with the Last in Hip Hop podcast. I'm gonna toss it to my left to my co-host.
What's good? This is Jose Rivera right here, man. We about to give y'all some good topics, you know what I'm saying, that we're gonna talk about, we're gonna touch on. We about to shake it up, and I'm about to pass it to my homie right below me.
Listen, man, it's your boy Maximilian. Like Wayne said, Maximilian, Obadiah Speed, the whole government.
The whole government.
The whole government. Hey, you know, what's up, man? It's good.
All right. So we're the Last in Hip Hop podcast, episode 5, live streaming today on Facebook. Today's episode is entitled Real Rap, and today's discussion is all about rap music. So we're gonna just do our intros. We're gonna lead in like we normally lead in with "What are you wearing?" So Jose, I'm gonna toss it to you. What you rocking today?
Man, today, man, I'm gonna just be honest with you, man. I just kept it simple. You know, I got the NASA little hoodie on. You know, I got the AC on in the crib, so I'm feeling good. You know, I just got some little simple, glasses on eyewear. That's about it. You know,
Little frames. All right. Well, you ain't got no kicks on today?
You know what? I'm barefooted today. I mean, I can go get I can go get some kicks though.
And, listen, matter of fact, no, toss me your kicks. I got your kicks for you, Jose. Oh, I got your kicks for you. Hold on, I got them right here. Jose has an affinity for New York rap. So I have his kicks on me. I have them on me right now. They're right here.
Hold on, real quick. Hold on.
Jose's kicks. Here's Jose's kicks.
This is what you started, Wayne. Wayne, this is what you started, man. This boy about to go.
Hey,
he about to go grab something.
He going digging. Yo, what Jose trying to dig out? Yeah, where's Jose digging? I want to see what he bring back. Oh, he brought the box. Oh
man.
No, you can't. Hold on.
Hey, listen. I ain't even wore these yet.
Hey, Wayne.
They ain't even come out.
Hey, Wayne, can we stop that? You can't go to your closet. If you ain't wearing it today, you can't do it. So you say you barefoot.
Hey, y'all still see the plastic? You still see the plastic? Yeah, you still see the plastic. I ain't wore these.
Those the wintertime in New York specials right there.
Yes, special. I ain't even put these.
I mean, what you put up though? I'm saying, what you put up though? What you put up?
Timberlands.
Yeah, he put his Timbs out.
Oh, you got some fresh Timbs?
He put his Timbs out.
They brand. I ain't even wore them yet.
Let me see.
He pulled the wintertime joints. The wintertime black joints. Oh, we got folks jumping on now.
Yeah, man. It's still in the plastic.
I said we got some more folks jumping on. That's right.
My joint got the new fresh. Still new.
Yeah, they still smell like Timberland trees.
Yeah. You already know what's up.
All right. We see you. We see you. All right, Matt. So we wrap it. I ain't gonna do it that way. Like, you want to go next, or you want me to go?
You go next one.
I'm if you guys see me look down, I'm hollering at the supporters.
What's up to all the supporters, man? What's up, man?
All right, so I go next. Today I'm rocking my Mighty Ducks hockey jersey, some simple frames, headband, my Beats by Dre, nice PacSun black denim, my kicks. Got my Jordan 6 infrareds today. Something light. Nothing too crazy today.
Man.
Let's see. Here we go.
Man.
Here we go. Listen, it's a light day. I'm chilling.
No, you talking about a light day.
It is a light day. I'm chilling.
You got the
boy, it's a pandemic outside, and you trying to step on us, bro.
I'm not. Listen, no. I'm not.
Wayne break it every show, man.
Man.
So
he like Donald Trump. He like Trump. He bragging. You bragging through the pandemic right now.
He get busy, man.
I'm bigly stunting on you guys.
Nah, you got it. Listen. I'm gonna salute you.
Y'all know it. Last week was a style episode. Y'all know what I believe in. If you feel good, like, that's all that matters. You feel like you feel like you the freshest nigga in the country. You the freshest nigga in the country. That's all that matters.
That's the problem right there. You trying to be the freshest nigga in the country.
I ain't trying to be.
I'm trying to be busy in the city.
You want to
That's
be?
what I'm trying to do.
You stuck in the city.
Man. We're not about to do. We'll go back and forth about this. Man. Let Wayne get busy. Let him.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you get busy.
Wait, that's gonna be another. That's going to another a topic. But
let me be great.
Yeah, let me be great, Kurt. Come on, man. Jose, my bad. Let me be great,
man.
That?
What you rocking, Max?
Man, I like to keep it simple, man. Just gotta, a Russell athletic, crew neck on and the Raiders,
Man, so his West
Raiders,
Coast.
Yeah, very West Coastish right now.
Real
I'm gonna try to get the Wayne level someday, man.
Listen, Max, you already on my level, Max.
Never. I'm definitely not on your level.
Matter of fact, listen, I'm gonna send you my fit. I'm gonna send you my fit. You send me your fit. I'm gonna rock yours next week.
See, that's when you stunt. That's what you can do.
I ain't stunting.
My other dudes.
I ain't even
you stunting, Wayne.
I'm being dead.
You know what I'm saying?
I will rock. I'll rock with Max rocking right now, and kill the game. Max is getting busy right now.
I'm chilling, man. You the man when it comes to the fits, man. You know what I mean? You the man.
That's y'all talking. All right, so that's
he's actually not the man, but keep going.
Here we go. Jose about to turn into a topic of discussion. I'm not gonna get Jose riled up. Not before the episode starts.
Don't get him riled.
This is part of the conversation. All right, so this is the rap episode. So we're gonna lead into our discussion about rap today. So the first thing I want to discuss is the question I wanted to ask my brothers and the supporters as well. What is your oldest rap memory, and when did you fall in love with hip hop? We can keep it brown sugar style. When did you fall in love with hip hop, and what's your oldest rap memory?
Ooh. Oh man, I got one. My oldest rap memory, I guess, from seeing like my oldest brothers, like being Wu fans. I remember the fact that the Helter Skelter, original Gun Clappers, the Boot Camp Click, and that's the first thing that came to my mind. I probably got some others, but that's the first one that came to my mind. Getting the tape. That was like, I thought that at that time, like I was young. So when I saw my pops, I was amazed. Like, oh my goodness! Like, get the CD and put the tape and dub the tape. So you go. I thought that was like the best thing ever. Like dub tapes, and then play it in the wheel. Like that was like a fascinating to me. Like, coming up. Rap City, of course, like those, like Rap City and dubbing tapes from the CD and the Wu-Tang and the Boot Camp Click, all that, Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, man. Classics.
I'll jump in next. My oldest rap memory is very similar. Oldest rap memory that I can remember, similar to Max, my brother was a big Wu fan. So I remember, and I'm a big Wu fan too, but like when they came out, I was like way too young to understand what it was.
Right.
I remember listening to, I remember my brother had Wu-Tang Forever, and I remember like sneaking and listening to it like when I was like little, like, bro, and even not understand what it was. I just knew it had a lot of cussing in it. That's why I wanted to hear.
Right.
Whoa.
So I remember listening to that like when I was real young. When I fell in love with hip hop, I would say I didn't really get big into the music until really high school. So I'd say maybe 9th grade. So around like 2000, 2001. So that was a time when like Stankonia came out, the Dynasty album. That's the first time I bought 2001, the album, and like that's one of my favorite albums. Like it came out in 99, but I bought it like a physical copy in 2001. Ja Rule 336. There's a lot of great projects came out that around that time, man. Then going into like the Blueprint and Stillmatic, like listening to those records, that's like the first time I was listening to rap and like really like breaking it down and like really falling in love with hip hop, the culture itself. What about you, Jose?
Oldest rap memory I would have to say is my aunt used to tell me anytime they used to put on like Heavy D when I was probably like 2 or 3, or LL Cool J, they was like, I would go crazy. Like they said, I like start dancing like all over the place. And like those are artists that at that time that I had liked. Now, like when it comes to when I fell in love with hip hop, I would probably have to say 2002, 2003. I remember like getting yelled at by my parents and going listening to Stillmatic and listening to like You're the Man. That's like one of my favorite records. Yeah, that sample was so crazy. And at that point, it was like something that I needed to help like uplift me and like motivate me. So like my parents, I might not take out the trash. They might say, you know, blase, blase, blase. And then I go listen to that album, and that record stuck out to me the most, like out of any other record. And I have a confession to make. I used to like the Bravehearts with Nas. Those Braveheart records I used to listen to.
No lie. Listen,
I did like the
was,
Bravehearts.
Nas was my favorite rapper at one point. Yo, listen, everything Nas affiliated with, I was riding for. So Braveheart, Queensbridge Finest was listening to all of it. Matter of fact, look, I'm gonna share some stories from the page. My homeboy, Saul Scott Jokes, Anderson Nant says he fell in love with rap when he heard Trick Daddy at the cookout for the first time. Shout out Trick Daddy. Shout out to Trick Daddy. My homeboy Jamie, BC alumni, Jamie Thomas. He said watching Fat Boys the movie for the first time. Look, Jamie a little bit older than us, so Jamie took it back. The Fat Boys.
Yeah.
Oh look, my niece Joy Nettles. She said, listen to this. Oldest memory, we used to have rap battles on the bus on the way to Alert in third grade. So she said I had to get it right. She said I taught her an old Rakim verse and she killed everybody.
Oh my God.
My niece was borrowing bars from the Rakim.
That's what's up.
Man, that's crazy. All right, so you guys want to share your oldest rap memories? Share them in the comments. We'll share them on the live stream as we go. All right, so we're gonna move into the next topic of conversation. So we're gonna have some general rap conversation. We're gonna talk about some ideas, just some things about rap, the rap community, general understood things. Joy said she kicked the hole in the speaker and she jet.
Woo!
Oh man. But we're gonna dispel. So we're gonna talk about some understood things in the rap community, kind of compare it to other genres of music, and just have a general discussion. So, one thing we want to hit on, one big thing in rap you always see, writing your own bars. So we're gonna have a conversation about writing your own bars in rap. Let's do this first. We're gonna do a mini false narrative. We got another false narrative in. We're gonna do a mini false narrative.
Okay.
Do you think in today's era, you have to write your own bars to be successful in the rap game?
Well, that's been disproven. Is that a word? Disproven? Why you use that right?
Disproven's the word.
Disproven. Well, that's been disproven all throughout rap. Like how many, successful artists had writers? You know what I'm saying?
Very true. Very true.
We think about, of course, like Dr. Dre. You think about like Diddy.
Dre, of course.
Dre, of course. But it's a lot of Kanye.
My boy said, hell no.
But
can you be successful and not write your own bars?
Yeah, it's been a lot of it's been a lot of guys that have had writers. You know what I'm saying? That
there have been a lot of successful ghostwriters.
Yeah, a lot of successful. Yeah, so that's definitely a myth. You know what I'm saying? Definitely a myth. But it's more like, entrenched. You supposed to write your own lyrics, and you know what I mean, like that hip hop bravado. Like, I'm that guy. I write my own. But I don't think it's like Drake. All the top artists that we named, have writers.
There's some guys. Drake. Ye has been notorious for having writers.
Right. So.
What you think, Jose?
I would say in today's climate of hip hop, I feel that you can be successful with having people write your lyrics. Now, in the 90s, I would say no, because they prided themselves on originality, developing different flows, copied somebody else, like you would probably get canceled in hip hop in the 90s. They prided themselves on lyricism, different flows, and being original. But today, I mean, I don't think it really matters. It's just, can you make a hit record? Yes or no. It doesn't matter how many writers you have on there. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I feel I kind of from the same boat with Jose and Matt said. I don't know. You definitely could be successful. Like, that's definitely been proven. You could definitely be hella successful in rap without necessarily writing your own stuff or having people contribute to your writing. I think the biggest thing when it comes to rap is the respectability factor. So I think that's the biggest thing. People. I don't know. I guess people pedigree is called into question when you don't necessarily write your own stuff. But I want to take the conversation this place because this is something I always seen in rap.
Okay.
Rap is the only genre that I know that you have to credit everything when you do a project or something musical. You have to credit yourself you have to be the writer. Like, if you look at R&B music, like if I can sing, I can take a song that I didn't write at all and get a hit, and no one's gonna call you on it. It's matter of fact, it's understood.
Right.
But like rap has always been like this super like you got to stick by your pen. Like you have to write your stuff to be considered like great.
Right. And can I ask you a question? Does that hold rap back? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like to its full potential. You know what I'm saying?
Dang.
Like, just think about it.
You might be onto something, man.
Just think about it. Like, we named like Ye. You know what I mean? How many countless Ye albums, classic albums? You know what I'm saying? So if guys have writers and things, if it's not your thing, cool. Like, you're not just saying you have to have a writer, but it seems like all the ones that did are considered legendary. You know what I mean? That have writers. Right. You know, it's something to think about. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like I'm a guy, like, to be honest with you, like, write your stuff, but I understand even rappers be like, it's nothing for to have one of the homies or like give us an idea, and not to say that person has to write, but hooks and things of that nature. So I think it's something that's definitely a false narrative. A lot of guys do it. You know what I mean? Not necessarily got to write your rhymes for you, but give ideas. Bounce back. Different. This is how you do this. This is how you say this. You know what I mean? So that's
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of leads into like the next point of discussion. Like, raps need to be. I feel like rap is a genre that is a high need for your not only that you write your raps, but it also has to be like autobiographical. Like, your raps have to be like, if you're not living the stuff you write about, it's also frowned upon in rap. Like, rap is like the one genre that has to be first person.
Are we starting false narratives early in this
early false
segment?
narratives?
Like, like what? Like, what is, like, you actually like think about, like, really, like, rap goes by these things. Like, how, Wayne, Kurt, Jose, how powerful would rap be if these certain false narratives didn't exist? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I disagree with you guys. I feel like and the reason why I disagree with you guys is because I feel like rap was created for Black people to have a platform to where they can use where they can educate people of like what's going on in their neighborhood. So if somebody is rapping about, say, I'm gonna use an example, T.I. When trap music came out, the reason why it was so powerful to me is because I had seen everything that T.I. was talking about as far as like the box Chevys and the Crown Vics. I seen that in my community, in my neighborhood. So it was so powerful because it was something that you could relate to. So imagine somebody is basically rapping about something that they're doing, but they're lying about actually doing that. So then it creates a false narrative of like, why are you actually lying about doing that? Where you could just say like, hey, you could create a story in third person where you're describing somebody else in a situation. And you're describing their experience instead of you lying and saying, this is me.
No, I'm not even talking about from the terms of lying. I'm just saying, like, with the rap, like, it's constricting because it's not even that it has to be a lie. Because a lot of rappers do lie. But I think the thing is this though. I think like rap is the only form of entertainment where, yes, I see what you're saying too. Like you relate to it, but in other platforms and other genres, like or other mediums in general, like I can make a movie and I can play a role and I can act something out that I didn't live necessarily, and you can watch it and you can relate to it because you relate to the story, not so much that
Mhm.
I did it. But I think rap, like they hold you accountable to, like for example, like if you rap about something and it comes out that you didn't do it or you lied about it, people may still rock with it, but to a certain degree, people are gonna be like I don't like it's not quite as respectable. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I agree with that.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying like the power in telling your own story. I'm just saying like I just feel like rap just has like these unwritten rules you got to follow
Yeah.
to be allowed in.
Because when rap started, there were certain principles that artists did that helped create rap to what it is. So it's like when you heard NWA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Majority of the time, what they were talking about, they did it.
I
When
get
I
that,
heard,
but think about
Hold on.
just
what about
Hold on.
imagine you
but
listening
hey
to
Hold
but hey
Illmatic,
on.
but
and you
hey
found
Easy
out
hey
that
E.
I
Hold
get
on.
that.
Hold
Nas,
But
on.
hey, no,
Hold on. Hold on.
wait. What about
Easy
like
E was the guy.
what about like Sugar Hill Gang though? Like they were like people were rapping about flashy cars and like having nice
Hold
things and like they was in the hood,
on.
but they were just making fun records.
How many rappers through history have have been great storytellers, great artists, but they never, lived that particular life. And I'm a guy of authenticity. Like, Like I love rappers that are authentic, but we'll be lying to ourselves to say, like, all these rappers are being honest. And, there's great story. They know how to make a great story and make it to a song. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real about it. Like, all these guys aren't, living out their, what they rap about.
But
It-
I think that kind of leads into what we're gonna talk about next. I think for rap, like there's a even if you don't come from that lifestyle necessarily, I think it's a demand for you to fit that mold more often than not. So
Right.
even like so you see guys who don't you look at them and you be like, I don't know if you live this life necessarily. But I feel like a lot of them either they lean that way because they know like there's a demand for it, or they lean that way because they know it's popular, or they just know that I can successfully pull this off,
All the above.
and it's gonna draw audience.
All,
So I don't
all
know.
those A,
I
B,
think
and C.
it's a mix of things. I think it's a mix. I
All
think it's
the
a mix.
yeah, definitely a mix of things. All of the above.
but people like hip hop because it's something that they're able to relate to and it's something they're able to understand. So it makes people very upset when they find out the life that you portray that you're living, you're not living that lifestyle, or you never lived in those type of conditions. So it's
I
like,
think. Oh, go ahead, man.
so, and I don't want to like put people under the scope. So it's like, I'm trying to think of somebody
Go
like
and throw him
Plies.
out there. Throw him out there.
Like Plies. He caught flack because he
Held
was
his life.
rapping about his brother's lifestyle, and that wasn't his lifestyle.
But
You see what I'm
listen,
saying?
this is my thing though.
And
I
people got
think
upset because they like,
I
yo,
think this though.
I'm living in these conditions, and I'm looking at you because I'm thinking that you're gonna give me hope to where I can get up out of this situation. I could be like you, and it's like you ain't even in my same shoes. We
But
ain't even the same pedigree.
I
So
think
now
I
I'm gonna
think
get
though.
upset.
I think that's true. I think people sometimes they put too much of an attachment on rap being super real when it's
Mm.
at the end of the day it's entertainment. I mean, I get it being like it was definitely founded on this is like
Yeah.
this is like hood CNN, like this is me telling my story. This is my outlet. But at the same time, like it's a lot of us consume this as entertainment value. So I think when I was younger, it used to bother me when I found out like, yo, the dude lying, like the dude ain't really living his life. Like I think that was my mind being young too. But I think as I get older,
Mm-hmm.
I consume rap as entertainment. So I look at
Mm-hmm.
rap
Right.
from the standpoint is like for example, I'm gonna throw a name out there like Rick Ross. Like Rick
Yeah,
Ross
see, I
is
ain't want to throw
Rick
Ross
like
out there.
I'm gonna no I'm gonna say this is what I'm saying. I'm gonna throw a name out there because Rick Ross raps so well about being a boss and being a drug kingpin and doing all these things. And I know he was a CEO, and I know he didn't live his life. but he does it so well to the point that I don't even care anymore. Because it's like he's a good actor. Like he makes good projects. He tells good stories. They're not necessarily his story, but a good story nonetheless. So I think the older I get, the more I just look at it as like, show me your body of work and show me that it's of high quality.
And that's my point. Like, you know what I mean? Certain artists are just good at, storytelling. You know what I'm saying?
You know what
else
I'm gonna say? You know what else? There's some guys live this life that can't rap to save their life. So I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that autobiographical story because it's trash.
Great point. That's a great point. Like, that's a great point. You know what I mean?
Man.
And you know what's funny? You know what's interesting? Because a lot of these so-called authentic street rappers or whatever you want to call it, all have been, everybody, you'll always hear like, oh, he didn't do that. You notice that, like, no matter how much stuff they sold on record, you'll always hear somebody in the back like, man, he ain't do that. Man, he not real. I heard this and that. I heard he was in school the whole time. And you know what I'm saying? Like, no matter who, if they were, you know what I mean? But you'll always hear that, like, you know what I'm saying?
I think that's a big thing too, man. We're gonna lead into a conversation you brought up, Max, a couple days ago. Like, we're talking about rap and their fascination with like street culture, street life, and really a fascination, a fixation with death.
Yeah.
Like, so what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I just noticed, with all the, all the killings throughout history and hip hop, it seems like death has followed. And I noticed, you look up, the news and, even on Instagram, different comments, people, talk about how, it's the lyrics, you know what I mean? The what you're talking about in your songs, from the drugs, the guns, all the violence. So people are saying, you change it up, maybe it wouldn't be so much death in rap if it wasn't, the message being, being out there, you're doing all this in the streets. Right. So, it's been following hip hop, for the longest. Every year it's a handful of rappers that pass. Rapper just passed in Atlanta. What's his name, Kurt?
Oh, Marlo.
Just passed. A slew of guys. You know what I mean? It's just sad. It's just sad.
Yeah, I mean, and then too, I think I also see, like, I see what you're saying, but I also see that, like, for a long time, rap is also, like, it's been a genre that has been kind of, not even context-wise, like, surrounded with death, but I think, like, just, like, the loss of artists as well. So I think you see, like, you see these guys pass, and even back to, like, the golden era, you see Pop pass, you see Big pass, and you see these guys, I hate to say it, like, I mean, and even more currently, you look at guys like Mac Miller, you guys like Nip. Like, I think a lot of times with rappers, maybe not Big and Pop so much, but you see guys now, there's a lack of appreciation for a lot of these artists while they're here and active. And on the other side of their passing, their legacies are launched. Their legacies are almost launched into the stratosphere. Like, oh, this was the greatest guy ever. And I get it too. Like, it's just definitely a way to recognize and pay homage to these guys who are doing great things. Like, Nip made great music, Mac made great music, but it almost comes off as disingenuous. Like, you see these flocks of people just like champion these artists. You're like, yo, where were you guys when these guys were here?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, like that. And I have an issue with that too. Like, your numbers, like Pop Smoke album just came out, and he's like, crazy numbers. You know what I mean? First week.
Yeah, you look at Pop Smoke, XXX.
Yeah.
Even Juice WRLD.
After Juice WRLD. Yeah. As soon as Juice WRLD just came out, and after the crazy numbers. Now, would they do those numbers while they're here? Now, that's a different discussion.
That's the whole other thing.
Yeah, that's
and then too. And I had the same conversation about. I even had a conversation about Big recently. I was like, Notorious, like B.I.G. had two completed projects before he died. But then you think, like, we look at artists who have like long careers, and we see like and artists who are at very elite levels, and we see them. Some of them we see them go, like, come and go. Like, they had these great catalogs. elite
Mm-hmm.
level artists, and then they kind of die down, and people kind of like, and when you bring their names up, they be like, yeah, they had a little buzz, but they aren't mentioned with like all time greats. But like, so it like I sometimes I wonder like if Big was around like today, like would he be like, would we still consider him like a rap legend? Like would his body of work like past life after death, like how great of projects would he have done? And depending on how great those projects were, would we still elevate him? Would he be in the conversation immediately? So like if you ask somebody name their top 5, they're gonna drop Pac name, they're gonna drop Big name 9 times out of 10.
Right.
Pac is a little different because he had a solid body of work before he passed. So like I give him his, but like certain guys, I'm like I just wonder.
I think you know, Big would have been already solidified with those 2 projects though. You know what I'm saying?
But
now,
who comes to mind when I think about it though, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think of people like Mace.
Okay.
Like Mace in that era, like was fire. Everything he dropped was fire. But post Bad Boy, it's kind of like he's a flash in the pan.
Yeah, I mean, every artist has their run though. You know what I'm saying? Not to say, you know, Big was going to be, you know, on J, you know, be J, who knows, on J level, or you know, have that level of consistency.
I ain't gonna say it. I ain't gonna say it.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. We here.
Say it, Wayne. Say it.
We here. No, hold on. Before you say that, even look at Drake's run. Look at Drake's run.
Drake has an amazing run.
Look at Tune. Look at Tunchi. Look at Wayne run.
Wayne has an amazing run. Yeah.
Had a crazy run. So we think about different runs in hip hop, like. You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to get off topic. That's why I didn't say what I wasn't.
Nah. Go ahead. Segue.
I'm gonna say it though. Just my humble opinion. Notorious B.I.G. doesn't pass away, I'm not sure Jay-Z becomes Jay-Z.
See, now you start.
I'm not saying that because
listen, Jose, you see what he's doing?
I think Jay-Z launched himself into a stratosphere of being. I think Jay-Z hopped on an opportunity. Jay-Z saw New York's biggest rapper, like one of the most successful rappers in the game, has just passed away, and he saw an opportunity. So you know what? Like, I'm from Brooklyn. This is my right hand man. I'm going to think about the timing of it, right? Like when Big was here, Jay-Z, like he was still like he was bubbling, like he made some noise, but he wasn't a star. But I think when Big passes, like Jay-Z jumps on the opportunity and becomes and climbs his way to like being the best rapper.
That's a great point. Listen, but I think you're starting something.
I think you're being
petty. I'm not trying to be petty. I love Jay-Z, but I'm saying I think Notorious B.I.G.'s passing opens up a lane for Jay-Z to become like New York's champion.
But you said that Jay was not successful until the Blueprint came out.
Yo, Jay wasn't
he wasn't. I said Jay-Z wasn't the best. Jay-Z was never the best rapper. Was never the best rapper in the game. Probably until like it's maybe 1 or 2 years. Like when Blueprint comes out, Jay-Z said everybody said, "All right, Jay-Z is like the top guy."
Right.
Like, there's always been another guy in rap that's been over Jay-Z like all the time. Like you look before, like when he first came out, Big Pac was those guys. Then when they're passing immediately. Then it transitioned to, if you think about New York, DMX was the guy. DMX was easily the biggest rapper like in the game. And then toward the early 2000s, Eminem becomes the biggest rapper in the world.
Right.
And then toward like mid 2000s, Lil Wayne launches himself into the stratosphere. Like so, Jay-Z was always elite level, but there's very few years I can think of. There's very few years I can look at the calendar and say Jay-Z was the best rapper in the game, hands down. But I would say this though, Jay-Z has easily been the most consistent rapper from the time he's come out until now.
And
I think that's his strong suit though.
Yeah, and to piggyback that, you know, that you look back at his career, you understand why people try to put him to the forefront. Like, hey, Jay-Z's the GOAT. You know what I mean?
When you look at longevity, like there's nobody who comes to mind like before Jay-Z in terms of rap. When you think about consistency, there's nobody you think about in terms of Jay. Only person I can think of it close is maybe Kanye. And I would even say on Kanye's end, like the last couple albums aren't a quality of the first few. So even in terms of consistency, Jay-Z wins in that regard, I think. Only
Me and Mark.
I kind of
only artist I can think
He's
of.
a disagree
Because
guy. Disagree
yeah,
guy.
I'm gonna disagree just a
Disagree
bit.
guy. Come
What
on.
part?
And
What
I'm
part?
about to cut. I'm about
Come
to cut.
on. Don't be
So
disagreeing just to disagree, man. Come
What
on.
part?
no,
What
this
part?
is what I'm gonna say.
What part?
When T.I. proclaimed himself the king of the South, right? Who was the best rapper? Who was the best rapper at the time when T.I. had proclaimed himself king of the South?
Like what? Give me a year.
Say 05.
Jason?
All right. When Lil Wayne was saying he was the best rapper alive, who was he coming after at that time?
That's a good point. That's a good point. Jason.
I rest my case. If Lil Wayne really was the guy, he wouldn't even be coming at Jay. Jay never came after nobody. Jay came after nobody.
That's a good point. But no, that goes
he
to my
never
point.
came after nobody. He didn't have to.
Listen.
Even when Drake was saying, "I'm the guy," Jay still made it known.
This is what I'm saying though. This is what I'm saying though. By the time we reach 2005, Jay-Z already has almost a 10-year rap career. So in terms of consistency, you look at somebody in rap that has a 10-year run of being super consistent and in the top 5 conversation the entire time. That's why they say that. People in rap don't necessarily say, "Hey, I'm gonna go for the top guy. I'm gonna go for the top guy at the moment." Like, listen, because Eminem could have easily said, "I'm talking about." He could say, "I'm talking about Eminem." He could say, "I'm talking about." To be honest, you could even bring up, if we're not talking about lyrics necessarily, he's talking about the lyricism, right? So there's a difference between high level lyricism and being the best rapper in the game too. Because to be honest, if we look at that time period, the hottest rappers in 2005, the hottest rapper in the game was 50 Cent. Like, to be honest, but 50 Cent's not in the conversation for like elite level lyricism. So I think that's my point to Jay-Z. Jay-Z has a long career. He's been super successful and he's kept himself in the conversation consistently. So when people talk about the best rappers, Jay-Z name is still gonna come up. But even then, like, you look at when T.I. says I'm the king of the South, like, I don't think anybody necessarily believes that. I mean, but T.I. believes it. But that's something he holds on to.
Hold on. Is T.I. Are we going into
T.I. the king of the South?
Hold on.
I say yes because
are we going off topic?
Yes, but what's your definition of king?
King of the South?
I give it to T.I. because he stood claim to it. Like
T.I.
is the Christopher Columbus of rap.
Hold on, is that a better claim?
T.I. is the Christopher Columbus of rap.
Hold on, wait, I got a question. Is that a better claim?
Whoa.
Hold on, what did you say?
He said T.I.'s the Christopher Columbus of rap.
Whoa. He claimed the title.
Hold on.
He claimed the title.
Hey, I think we getting off topic now.
Yeah,
we
are getting off topic.
I'm a Jada fan. My last one. I'm a Jada fan. So you're saying, is T.I. saying king of the South? Is it comparison to Jada being top 5?
Top 5 dead alive? Same thing. Yeah.
No, it's not.
Same thing. The same thing. Same idea. Like, no, I don't think anybody. I don't think any rap fan is sitting around saying to themselves, "I think T.I. is like the guy per se," unless you're a T.I. fan. Like, I think T.I. has an ownership of that title because that's part of his essence. Like, T.I. comes out, I'm the king of the South. You think about the trap, like, he's like the innovator of that, so that's his space. So like, he's carved a lane out for himself. So yeah, when he says that, I buy it because, like, yeah, he said it, he owns it, and nobody really contends it either. And everybody has is kind of like, okay, you mess with him, you want to, like, he's taking claim to this. And I think the good thing about it too, like the OGs, especially from the South, they respect T.I. enough to be like, yeah, you got that. I would say this: T.I.'s the Jay-Z of the South.
T.I.'s the Jay-Z of the South.
T.I.'s the Jay of the South. He's probably, well, maybe not now, but he's
prior to. Is that a good comparison though?
I think it is. Like, you look at Southern artists, right? He's probably one of the most consistent, like, Southern artists.
He is. He's been the most consistent.
Okay.
He definitely has. He had a great run. But like I told you, everybody from New York had championed Jay-Z. When guys were sending guys were sending shots at Jay, right? You remember the Dear Summer, they were sending little shots. Jay was shutting them boys up. He was shutting them up. Like,
but listen,
I'm the big guy.
Let me say something though.
Go ahead.
Let me say something though. The fact that niggas feel comfortable enough to come at Jay-Z, does that say something? Because there have been a long string of young up-and-coming rappers who feel comfortable enough, like, you know what, I'm about to come for Jay-Z because I'm that good of a rapper.
And what
We've seen it
happened every
multiple
time?
times. These
What
guys are
happened
still
every time?
active. Lil Wayne is still active. The game is still active. I see a lot of guys who came at Jay-Z and are active rappers and have long, successful careers. I haven't seen Jay-Z shut anybody down to be like, you know what, I'm about to extinguish your career. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. Jay-Z wanted
But
to.
where those guys? Listen, Jay could drop a project today and still.
I'm not saying they're on Jay-Z's level.
Jay is still on an elite level as of right now. Those guys aren't even putting out albums anymore. They're not even doing it.
But listen, I'm not saying that. I agree with that. But what I'm saying is there have always been other guys that when I think about my top, like I have never in my life ranked Jay-Z like in my top 3. At any point, at no point. If you ask me the best rappers in the game, like today, like active, Jay-Z would never be like number 1 or 2. He will always drop the 3 or 4.
I mean, Kendrick Lamar isn't album. He isn't active either, so.
But he's not retired.
He's not active.
Jay-Z's active. Kendrick Lamar's active. They're not retired rappers.
When the last time Kendrick put out an album?
Like,
come on. Can we stay on top of it?
I just want to throw that out there a little
Jay-Z
bit.
had album 3 years.
Nah, because you about to go. I see where this is going.
He about to go into on my guy, but that's not the
we ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna do that.
All right, so let's move to the next. Let's move to the next point. That's just one
Good dialogue, though. Good dialogue.
So let's move into let's move into rap labels. Let's talk about the kind of the rise and fall of rap labels. We saw there was a big influx of rap labels in the early 90s and even going into the 2000s. You saw a lot of rap collectives, a lot of rap crews. So let's kind of talk about the rise and fall of rap labels and independent rap labels.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Let Jose lead us off.
Go ahead.
So I do want to touch on the, Mr. Nettles wanted me to touch on the QC label situation.
No, not the beef yet. We're gonna get the beef in a minute. Let's talk about just the labels first, though.
So when it comes to the labels, as far
like
as the rise and fall, I mean, you can look at Jay-Z. You can look at that whole situation. In my opinion, I just felt it was differences in how Jay and Dame wanted to do business. And I felt like that's how that whole label situation had just fell apart, in my opinion. Jay-Z wanted to work with the powers in the industry, and Dame Dash, he wanted to be the power, and they had discrepancies. So at that point, you have to think of how many people were involved in that situation. You got The Roc, you got State Property, you got Dipset. Am I missing somebody else?
That's about it. And everybody else was in the label.
Yeah, so you got to think about all of those people that were like affiliated and how that basically fell apart. You can look at NWA. You can look at their situation. As far as people just being greedy. You can look at Cash Money. As far as how Cash Money, what they show you, it seems like the artists are making money, but in reality, they're really not. The only people that are making the money is Birdman and Slim. We've heard numerous stories of different artists, from Juvenile to Manny Fresh to Turk to BG. You know, even they cash prize like Wayne, he wasn't getting paid. Tiger wasn't getting paid.
Toward the end.
Even the newer artists that I can look at, like Money Man from Atlanta, he bought out of his deal because he looking at his situation like, I was making more money independently. I'm not making as much money, so I'm gonna just buy myself out of the deal. Even another guy in Atlanta, Sari the Kid, when he first signed to that situation, it looked good on paper. But after they start realizing, like, hey, we ain't getting no bread, they're like, nah, we just gonna buy ourselves all our deals. That way we can just keep doing what we want to do.
Right. I see that too. So I think the transition kind of happened too when you look at like the time period. So I think like we look back to the early '90s, even really before the early '90s. We look at like Def Jam. Like you got Def Jam, you had Def Jam. Then like going into the '90s, you had Bad Boy. You had like Kurt mentioned, Ruthless with Eazy-E. We had who am I leaving out? We had Death Row.
Mm-hmm.
Like so we had then we had like smaller label. We had like Loud.
Priority.
Priority. Then down south we had Rap a Lot.
Swap
House, Cash Money. No Limit. No Limit was a huge one. So I think we see like this influx of rap collectives, and we see these rap crews, and we just see a large influx of rap artists on these label deals. And I guess that was the current standard of business. You signed to a label, whether you were independent or not. You signed to a label, and that was your trajectory toward the top. That's time to talk about because Kurt kind of talked about some of these deals going left. Why do we think? Well, Kurt kind of mentioned anyways. He mentioned like we mentioned money. We mentioned ego when it comes to like the Roc-A-Fella. You look at Dame and Jay. But what about like labels like No Limit, like our Priority, or like Raucous? Like what about the?
Yeah, I think like labels like that, like you said, Raucous. Wow. Is it like timing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, do those certain labels, have a run? You know what I'm saying? Like have runs and where, they're successful, but knowing how the industry changes, how rap changes, and influx of new artists come in the game and the different sounds and things like that. Is it a case of that also? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Man,
like
I definitely see the wave. Like you see guys who have
a
their
wave.
run.
Yeah, you might have a run and think about like Nelly and the Saint Lunatics. You know what I'm saying? It was Dirty ENT. I don't know if this is like that. Yeah, like so it's like a run, and there's another run over here. You go to the East Coast, the West Coast, down South, Midwest. So I think it's a lot. I think you can put that into the equation as well.
Yeah, so I guess it's a various reasons. Infighting, drama, especially with Death Row. Like you see deals with Death Row. You see other guys like just not liking the environment. So I mean, I guess it's a variety of reasons. But then too, I would say this too. Like I would say in the past couple of years, it's been kind of it's kind of been an increase of like rap crews and rap labels kind of coming back to prominence. You see like look like Dreamville, TDE, QC.
Yeah.
So you definitely see the influence of them coming back, and like the rap collective coming back as a whole.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah, and I think I brought up the Locks the other day. You know what I'm saying? We think about certain groups
on two rap labels, Bad Boy and Rough Riders.
Right, Bad Boy and Rough Riders, but D Block has always
D-Block,
always remained. Yeah, it's been some some groups have made stayed true to one another. So I think that's dope.
Yeah, definitely. So let's move from so we kind of talked about labels. Let's look at Kurt already kind of piggyback on some of this. Let's look at some of the internal label issues. One that comes to mind, like this on the smaller end, which is like just infighting. We look at MMG with Wale and Meek Mill, kind of going at it internally. We kind of see like Cash Money, and Cash Money is unique because like you see Cash Money, you see early on it was a very much a family environment. This collective, like they all were super close. You could tell they all work closely together. Like Manny Fresh was producing everything. Like he was like the in-house producer. Like everything came through Cash Money, came through Manny. You look at the artists, like they moved very much in group formats. You got Hot Boys, so you have all these solo artists, and we smash them together into a group collective. So you had Hot Boys, you had Big Timers, which was with Baby and Manny Fresh collectively. But even the solo projects, they all sounded like it was like this one unison sound, right? But I think their kind of demise was a money thing. But I think the interesting thing was like you saw people fall off gradually, like who wasn't getting their money. You saw Juvie like exit. You're like, yo, wait, so it was kind of weird. You're like, yo, where Juvie go? Then you saw Turk like get incarcerated. So that was his deal. And then you saw like BG, he was dealing with drug issues. So you saw all these exits, like slowly but surely you saw these exits from the group. And like you kept seeing like the baton passing almost like, okay, now you're gonna lead the charge now. Like you're gonna lead the charge now. And then it got down to like Manny. Like I never thought I'd see Manny. Manny Fresh was gone. I'm like, yo, where Manny go? But I think the consistent for a long time was Wayne. Like Wayne was always there. Like Wayne was always the one there. It was like, you know what, Wayne is the Cash Money like champion of the label. So it almost felt like, because we already heard rumblings of people not getting their money, people not missing their royalties, like deals not looking right. So in my head, I was like, well, if anybody's getting paid, Lil Wayne got to be getting paid because like he's been here long as he's been active. But then we saw toward the end, like Lil Wayne having issues like with the album coming out, saying he's missing paid royalties, like all this other stuff. So it's interesting to see like the structure of Cash Money and seeing Cash, like you see like these different modes. Like you see different, like you look at Cash Money in the early days, it had this unique sound. You saw it toward the mid 2000s when Wayne kind of takes over, like it kind of goes more of a mainstream sound. And you see these other artists being introduced that aren't necessarily like Louisiana-based artists. And then you see toward the like 2009, 2010, that era, you see Lil Wayne becomes like a mogul in himself. Like, okay, we got these subsidiaries, like where we got Cash Money, Young Money, and you see these influx of young new talent. So you see Drake, Nicki Minaj, Tyga, and you see these guys coming from all over the country. So to see the money thing kind of spiral out of control and kind of is interesting.
Yeah.
Even with that situation, I think the only reason why I think Drake and Nicki Minaj didn't experience those things, or we haven't heard about it, is because Drake had other people that had invested in that situation. Like Jay Prince he's not gonna let that happen with his money. So he gonna make sure he get paid. And Jay Prince, his son Jay Prince Jr. was the reason why Drake even made it to Young Money. So Jay Prince was involved in that situation. So he's gonna make sure that he get his money. He's not playing around with no Birdman or with Slim. So I'm gonna make sure Drake get his bread, and I'm gonna make sure I get my bread. I don't know who is really in Nicki's corner. I really can't say, but I really haven't heard any issues with Nicki. But see, with Wayne, he had a direct connection with Birdman, so I'm not sure where that disconnection had went. So.
Yeah, that's be interesting too. Like on the timeline, when did Cash Money go left? Like with the, I mean, you look at it, they got Baby has a long history of not paying people. Long history of not paying people.
Producers not getting. He didn't pay Khaled, and that's why Ross went after.
And that's why
that relationship got frayed because he didn't pay Khaled.
Yep. Remember Khaled was about to sign. Was did the deal with Cash Money? Remember that? As a matter of fact, remember, there's a lot of cats did deals with Cash Money around that time that kind of went left. Like, what happened with, remember Game was supposed to sign with Cash Money? What happened to that?
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Game was going to sign with Cash. Because, you know, Game and Wayne and Baby all tight.
Yeah.
What happened with that situation? I can't even tell you.
You know, there's a lot. Now think about it, there's a lot of like stuff with Cash Money that was supposed to happen that never happened. Like you remember the Baby R. Kelly project that was supposed to happen? Y'all remember that?
So I don't remember the,
No,
but
they was
I do
tripping.
recall. I do recall like Baby just trying to sign everybody. Like I do recall
He was definitely strong
him
arming
trying to
folks,
pick up
like he was trying to
everybody.
sign everybody.
He tried to get Thug and he told me Quan. But
Yep.
they got but Thug got scooped up. You know what I'm saying?
And, they got, and Rich Homie Quan was supposed to be for a second. They was in the works because they remember the single what's the record Lifestyle. That was a Young Money release, wasn't it?
I think.
That was the YMCMB. I think it was. I think it was YMCMB release.
But was it really? I think that was some issues too, because
something fell off. Something had to fall off.
Yeah, like his word, Rich Homie Quan and Young Thug with Young Money, and Young Thug beefing with
Right.
Lil Wayne. You know what I mean? So I'm sure that was some some issues, and that was right around the time when Wayne was coming out. Like, yo, Baby, remember they had that feud? Remember that feud they had going back and forth? You know, yeah. So it's
interesting.
Very interesting.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna let Jose lead into the recent label drama. QC, Migos and QC had something going on about some money. Like, what was it, Kurt? Because I wasn't super familiar with what happened.
I did a little research on it, and what happened was the Migos, they are suing the attorney for millions because the attorney was actually affiliated with QC. So a lot of the times when these deals were being made, they were being made on the behalf of QC instead of the behalf of the Migos. So anytime you have like an entertainment attorney, you never want to get the entertainment attorney that's affiliated with the label because they always want to look out for the label. If you get your own independent attorney that's not affiliated with the label, you pay them. Like, so they're going to make sure you get the best deal. And the Migos feel that they were hustled out of millions because of that situation. They never knew that that attorney was even affiliated with QC at all.
I got
you. And this is just accusations. I'm not saying that it's true.
Yeah.
But it's just.
I mean, I can see that though. Because like your lawyer gonna look out for top dollar.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Wow, that's wild. All right, so that's a pretty good conversation about labels. Let's transition that directly into this week's my top 5. So this week's my top 5 topic is gonna be my top 5 rap labels. All right, so anybody want to share first?
I'll go first.
Gonna go first.
I ain't gonna say it's gonna be in order.
That works.
But I have Good Music.
Okay, good.
I got them number 1. I'm putting them in order. I got Good Music at 1. I got TDE at number 2.
Okay.
I got number 3.
Who's at 3? Okay.
I got QC the label at 4, and then I got OVO at 5.
Woo! I ain't thinking about OVO. Okay. All right.
Hold on. OVO?
I
guess.
I don't know if it's a rap label. I don't know if it's a rap label.
I guess.
They're like a crooner label. I will give it to you. I'll give you OVO. They're rap. They're rap like.
I can interchange them out with MMG, but it's just like I would say over the past years with MMG. MMG,
honorable
there you go. They and that's why, because I'm like MMG, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know what's going on with Wale. Like on paper, they do have a great roster, but I don't know what's translating because I feel like Wale is a great artist, but for some reason, whoever's running that marketing,
I would say this.
It's not working.
I would say this. Not a gal topic, but MMG is a great label. Wale is an amazing artist, but I feel like Wale is the one artist that did not benefit by signing with MMG. All right.
Next.
Listen, ain't no particular order, man. I'm a up north guy.
You better not. Don't say that
I'm
name.
going
Man.
with Rough Riders.
Oh my God.
You know I got to go. You know I got to go. Roc-A-Fella Records.
Okay, Rock.
You know I got to go. Yo, you know, Cash
State
Money.
property. State property. Philly.
Yo, you know what?
I put them on there.
State property. Of course, that's the one with Roc-A-Fella.
No, they
I'm done.
the rock. They the rock though. They the rock.
They the rock,
They
so I can't.
It's a collective. You're right. They good.
What I say for 3? I say Cash Money.
Cash Money.
Oh,
Okay.
Cash Money. Listen, what I had it for. What I had it for. I just, Curry, you made me mess up.
Who else you got?
Dang. I had
Steady, Max. Come on, bro.
I ain't say you made me mess up. I had him off top.
He's matching off the dome.
Roc-A-Fella. I had Roc-A-Fella. Oh, Death Row.
Okay, Death Row. Okay.
Death Row.
Who your 5?
My 5. I'm going with my 5. Who I'm going with 5? I'm going with No Limit.
Okay, No Limit. All right.
No Limit.
All right. All right, it's on me. All right, so like this. Listen, at first, initially, like when we discussed having this as the top 5, in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm like, we all gonna have the same labels, yo. It's only so many. Then I thought about it, I'm like, yo, it's a
lot of
gang,
labels.
it's a gang of rap labels, yo.
It's a gang of rap.
It's a gang of rap labels. So this was tough. It was tough, and there are a lot of rap labels I'm fans of too. So I didn't do mine, but I didn't do it by like best rap labels of all time. I did it by like labels that I gravitate toward, like in terms of like artists and what they put out. So it's kind of a mix. It's a mix of like new and old. So I'm gonna go backwards. Y'all know I always do honorable mention. I always do an honorable mention. My honorable mention, like I don't think none of these labels would be possible without this label. One of the greatest rap labels of all time. Def Jam. Honorable mention is like the rap label, the rap mecca. Like so, Def Jam gets an honorable mention. Without Def Jam, none of these labels would be possible. I think.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
So I got to shout out Def Jam. Shout out Def Jam, number 1. All right, going into my list, going from I'm gonna count them down. So 5, making my list at 5, Cash Money. Being a Southern kid, like seeing Cash Money come up, seeing the independent label like be launched into like the mainstream, like it was an amazing thing to see from a Southern person, to see like this super organic, this super Southern sound just become like the staple. Like seeing Cash Money on TRL, you're like, yo, this is like crazy. Yo. Like so Cash Money number 5. Number 4, nobody mentioned this label. They're not super. They don't put out a whole lot of music, but the music they put out is like beating niggas in the head. Aftermath.
You know what? Wait, I was gonna say Aftermath, y'all. I was gonna say Aftermath, but I was tying that in with Death Row though. I don't know why.
Wait, no, it's a transition though, so that's different. Death Row is the precursor to Aftermath. So the reason I say Aftermath is number 1, Dr. Dre is like one of my favorites of all time, but the artists that have come out of the Aftermath, come from Aftermath tree, have like been like some of my favorites. So you got Eminem, you got 50 Cent, you got The Game, and even now my favorite current rapper, Kendrick Lamar. You have all these rappers associated with Aftermath. So Aftermath gets the nod. Number 4 on my list. Number 3, shout out to the Roc-A-Fella. So Jay-Z, like really Jay-Z, Dame, and Biggs, like to see that they run really one of the first independent labels to like kind of gain like amazing amount of traction and to move themselves into the forefront. So definitely Roc-A-Fella, and you see the growth of the roster growth was amazing to me too. So you initially started very regional. So you saw Jay, you saw Memphis Bleak, and you saw Beans, even a Million and other people affiliated with the label. But then you saw these subsidiaries kind of grow out of that. So you saw State Property. Then you saw like Cam signing with the Roc-A-Fella, and then you see Dipset's launch. Then you seeing people like Kanye signing with Roc-A-Fella, and then like Ye going on to launch like good music. So you see all this. I saw a lot of great artists be launched based on Roc-A-Fella. 2, the segue into this label, Good Music. Because of Kanye's success at Roc-A-Fella, he's able to launch Good Music. And really, one of the first labels I saw with a large roster of artists who I was fans of individually, like come together and have like a bunch of great projects. John Legend, even though he's not a rapper, very definitely rap influence though. John Legend, Common. You see Common move over to Good Music and put out an amazing album with B. And even to the older guys he reached out to, like Consequence puts out a great first album. GLC, Mr. Hudson, you see Sarah, Big Sean, you see the guys going into the newer generation. And even affiliates like 2 Chainz and Kid Cudi, like you saw like a large influx of older and newer guys come out of Good Music.
The Pusha T's as well.
How can I leave out
Travis Scott?
Travis Scott. He's not signed, but he's affiliated. So yeah, so you see Travis, you see Pusha, like so you see the large, like you see these like a wealth of like great artists come out of Good Music. So that's my number 2. Number 1, I had to lean with my heart. So my favorite rap label currently, definitely affiliate the guys from the jump, guys I've been attached to, TDE. So you see Top Dog and his collective of artists. So you see the initial collective. You see Kendrick, Ab-Soul, J-Rock, Schoolboy Q. But you also seen them able to grow the label and to venture out and sign artists like Isaiah Rashad out of Tennessee. You see them sign SZA out of Jersey. Even now, a guy I've been gravitating toward lately, like he's not a rapper, but Sir, like amazing R&B artist, amazing West Coast, like amazing sound. And I'm even delving into some of the other guys like Lance Skywalker, the guys I'm checking out now. So I would say TDE is my favorite label. They
too.
Number 1.
You're missing a guy that's talented.
Who did I leave out?
Ransom.
Yeah, Ransom. Yeah, definitely.
He is. I checked out like some music from him a couple months ago, and he's definitely talented as well.
Definitely. So
you said Ransom?
Yeah. I ain't delved into a whole lot. He is nice though. Some of the stuff I heard is real nice. So they're solid.
Hold on, is that his name?
Yeah.
I thought it was Reason.
You talking about Reason?
Yeah, that's his
name.
Reason, that's his name. You're right.
No, Reason, yeah. So definitely, but that's my top 5. Cash Money at 5, Aftermath at 4, Roc-A-Fella at 3, Good Music at 2, TDE at 1. Honorable mention, Def Jam. Shout out.
We gotta start putting parameters because I'm thinking we putting like labels that are like active today. I ain't thinking like
all my labels are active. Except for Roc-A-Fella.
I gave you classic. I gave you number classic.
Roc-A-Fella's the only label I didn't list that's listed that's not active.
Like active like labels that are like actually doing something today. Like right now.
All my active. I couldn't leave out Roc-A-Fella. Roc-A-Fella.
Is Drake Rough Riders? I don't think Rough Riders ain't active, bro. They're not.
But I'm saying mine is classic though. I give you a number of classics.
You can still do that. Those are two. They still.
Let me add Aftermath to it too. Let me add Aftermath to mine.
Nah, bro, you can't add that.
Okay, cool. But I gave you number of classics.
Rough Riders is
the truth. Rough Riders, but Rough Riders is like one of the. Come on, don't do that. Don't do that, Jose. Don't do it.
I mean, you could do current labels, but in my opinion, though, like there's an influx now. But as far as like strength of like catalog, like it's like there's a few guys with strength. Even like some collective like QC has a solid label, but like the catalog of work doesn't hold. Like the list of artists holds weight, but like the catalog don't hold the weight as like some of these other labels.
Society, it does hold weight. I mean, they got the Migos, and they got the Migos.
I'm not talking about the artists. I'm talking about as far as projects. Like the Migos have like, in terms of projects that are gonna hold the weight to the other labels. Like the Migos are carrying Migos and Lil Yachty are carrying that label, and the City Girls.
And Lil Baby, that's what I'm saying.
But even Lil Baby, like he's still buzzing. Like it's like when I think about Cash Money, like even the label I mentioned at the lowest rung. Like when I think about Cash Money, I can cite like, and even not the artist per se. Like even when I look back at that roster, the roster is not as strong, but the quality of albums, like The Block is Hot, 400 Degrees. Like I could cite like classic albums from that catalog, from that label. Like when
What are you
QC
doing
like
right now?
say what?
Doing right now.
I'm not talking what they're doing right now, because like
See, that's how I pick my
about
labels.
relevancy. We're not talking about. I don't think this was a top 5 of relevancy. We just the top 5.
Top 5 labels. I see what you're saying though. Like even with QC, like 10 years from now, can we say that all these guys are gonna be relevant? Let's say this. We don't know.
And that's why I put them on my list, because I'm putting them on the list like as far as like today. Even with Dreamville, you gotta think about, you got Bash, you got J. Cole, and then you got Ari Lennox.
Ari.
You see what I'm saying?
Ari,
So
you got Earth Gang.
Yep, you got Jid.
Yep, yep. So yeah, they almost.
I'm not saying that wrong with y'all list. I'm just saying like this is how I did mine. I did mine.
Jose coming
off of like
Jose coming for our list. It's all right though.
Yo, I really feel like this guy is like I'm not feeling this guy right now. Like I ain't see this guy. He's like the disagree guy that gotta go. I'm not feeling you, bro. Like I'm be honest.
You know what, bro? You are out, bro. You are out.
It is what it is.
Go right now, bro.
I'm not feeling you this episode. Oh, my God.
You ain't gotta feel me, bro. It is what it is.
Funny.
This guy. Come on.
That's funny. All right. Let's move in.
This guy. The disagree guy.
The disagree guy. Kurt's disagreeing with us today. That's all right. All right, so we move into the final topic. So we're gonna move into the final topic for the day. False narrative. I'm gonna throw it over to Max. He's gonna lead our false narrative for today.
So, false narrative. And please, people in the comments, please give your opinion. Anybody checking out the podcast, leave, whether I'm right or wrong on this one, it's all good. But I really, really believe this in my heart, right? Meek Mill, I'm a big Meek Mill fan. I'm from Philly. Disagree guy. Relax. Seriously, but I'm a big Meek guy, and coming from the humble beginnings where he started, off the DVDs and things like that. The whole beef with Drake, I feel the reason why I feel like it's a false narrative because it was a lot that went into it, a lot of internet things and. The song Back to Back, I believe that, let me ask you guys a question. How do you feel about Back to Back being, what would it rank as far as, would you rank Back to Back as being?
Back to Back is a top 5 diss record.
See what I'm saying? See, that's what I'm saying.
I disagree.
See, that's my issue.
I think it's top 10, issue. But it's probably like 9 or 10. I think I can
find. Let me ask you a question. See, this is so we're all gonna talk about this one. So, man, let me ask you a question. Why do you feel Back to Back is the top 5?
Listen, I'm gonna tell you now. Listen. Back to Back is a top 5 diss record because like all encompassing the moment and everything that went into Back to Back was an amazing performance. Number one, we look at the rollout. Let's look at the rollout alone, right?
I'm talking about the record.
I think you're coming from.
That's part of the record. So listen, think about it. So listen, let's
rollout.
We'll take the rollout out. Okay, let's throw the rollout out. Let's think about this. The record.
It was a rollout. Wayne. It's a rollout. It was a rollout.
But listen, even the record itself, right? In terms of what it was, we're basically seeing Meek Mill versus Drake, right? Drake has always been known as like the emotional rapper. He's been known as the sing-songy guy. Traditionally speaking, Drake doesn't work in the constructs of rap, right? And then we have Meek Mill. When we talk about battling, like this guy's about to come at Drake, right? From Meek Mill's pedigree, he comes from Philly. Like he's cut from the cloth that's meant to like battle, right? So on paper, Meek Mill should eat Drake up. Okay. So when Back to Back comes out, it's like Drake pulls an 8 Mile. Drake comes out and says, "You know what? I'm gonna take everything that you can say about me, and I'm gonna put it on record as I go at you." So Drake went completely left of what he normally does. Drake Drake this is Drake's attempt at a rap battle, a rap diss record, like which is like hip hop at its core. And like he successfully crafts this, and then he goes at it like when he says you getting bodied by a singing nigga, it's like he even puts himself on he even puts himself on Front Street. Like, you know what, this is embarrassing, son. Like I'm embarrassed.
You losing, bro. No.
Listen,
So
think
Wayne,
about it.
Gosh.
But think about this, and then you look at the reason I brought out the rollout. You look at the cover, like it's the Toronto Blue Jays, like beating the Philadelphia Phillies.
Oh
like,
my gosh, are you serious?
Like
Max,
bro, like everything about
Max,
it.
stop
What?
him.
Then the guy goes, listen.
You
Listen. Then the
sound like a millennial.
Then the internet goes crazy, like sets the internet on fire,
Oh
and like
gosh.
it becomes a meme, like it becomes like a viral thing. Then he takes it to OVO Fest and pulls a Jay-Z, puts him on the screen with all the memes while I perform in front of my festival at OVO Fest.
When you name nothing but antics, bro.
Max, I got a question to ask you.
He named
Max,
everything.
hold on.
Get out of here, man. You named everything other than this song. You named everything surrounding the song, like all the antics and the circus surrounding it.
That's a part of it.
Come
on.
on.
What Wayne is telling me. Wayne is telling me.
Hold on. Go ahead.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question. So Wayne is basically putting back to back on the same level as Stillmatic.
Listen. No, I'm about to say something else. I'm about to make another claim.
There's all the internet stuff.
I'm about to make another claim.
That's why it's a false story.
I'm about to make another claim. No, listen. I'm about to make another claim. Ether ain't that good of a diss record.
Dude, are you serious?
Listen. Nas clearly.
Get off.
Listen. Nas clearly wanted to beef. Listen. I'm telling you why. Nas clearly wanted to beef, right? Nas clearly wanted to beef. Nas is known for his lyricism and his high level lyricism, right? There is nothing lyrical about Ether.
Wait, stop it.
It's not.
Yo, you are tripping.
No, listen. I'm about to quote some lines from Ether right now. Jay-Z, your dick sucking lips. Like what? It's like a sixth grader wrote it.
Wayne, nah.
Listen.
It's the reason why you got back-to-back top 5.
Back-to-back is top 5 because Ether's not a good record.
No, it's not. It's not, bro.
Hey, yo, please, in the comment section, get after this.
LL Cool J, this record was better than back
What?
to back.
Are you serious?
There's nothing wrong with LL Cool J's record. But listen, I'm saying it's top 5. All right, do this for me.
This record was better.
For me. Give me the diss records better than back-to-back.
Ether.
Ether's not a better record than back-to-back. It's a bigger diss record.
Way better. Take over Ether. Back to back. Come on, y'all.
But listen. That's the thing about it. Listen, when you think about it, Takeover's a better diss record than Ether, but Ether was a better response. That's the thing about it. I'm talking about records.
Still better than back to back. It's still better.
Ether's an overrated diss record.
Can I also tell you? So let me finish. So I really believe that it was one of those things put on by the industry. Like I felt the industry was attacking Meek Mill at the time because at that time he was being very outspoken.
Meek Mill dropped the ball.
A lot of people were questioning, could Meek make mind you, he had about 2, I think he was on the second album at that time. It was a lot of rumbling. Yeah, there's a lot of rumblings in the industry saying, hey, can Meek make, a classic or, make something that's all he does is holler. These are the things that were going on leading to him spewing out what he did to Drake. So I think it was a lot of, I think it was a curse of situations leading up to that, which, people believe that Meek, Meek was targeted. I believe Meek was targeted at that time, him being outspoken, him being truthful, speaking his mind, he was attacked. You know what I'm saying? That's why I believe that whole situation was like a false narrative. Like him, the false narrative being, his career is over. You know what I mean? People, saying like Meek is done at all type of L's and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying?
He definitely took it. Now, I don't remember saying this, and we had a conversation about this earlier. I think, like, I don't recall, but Jose and Matt seem to feel like I said Meek Mill's career was over. I don't remember
You were
saying
one
it.
of them. You were
I
one.
don't
You were
remember
one of
saying
them.
it. I don't remember saying. Now I do remember saying
Wayne.
this. I do remember saying Meek Mill got bodied. He definitely got bodied. He definitely
No,
got
you
bodied.
said
Listen, this is what I said. I said Meek Mill got bodied. I also said this was the worst. Like, I was really excited by two like stars in rap, two young stars in rap going at it. And I'm not a Meek Mill fan, but I was excited for Meek Mill's response to Drake. I was like, okay, Meek Mill's gonna say something. He gonna respond. But it was, to me, like, it was a great performance by Drake, but the response was so lackluster. I'm like, oh man, I felt like I missed the opportunity at a
Wayne,
great
I'm
rap.
about to box you in right now, Wayne. I got a question for you.
Yes.
Was Pusha T's diss to Drake?
Hold on,
they,
Kirk.
it,
Before you ask that, can I say
I'm
this?
gonna say it too. I'm gonna say it
Hold
too.
on. Before, because you go on. My thing is this: with that Meek situation, I could see where he could have been alarmed by that whole situation because the internet was going crazy. Like I said, people were calling for his career. Meek's career is over. He had this time to respond. So I can see like this just being a whirlwind, like just like what is going on? Like because it seemed like everybody, people that probably was in his corner weren't feeling him. Like, dang, like so him seeing like the shadiness of the industry, attack him for something. Because think about it, like we talked earlier about the segment about writing your own rhymes and
correct.
he called Drake out on it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Called him out on it. And got us, and that just like caused mayhem through the whole internet, like going crazy for him bringing that up. The poster child, the industry's top guy, coming at the top guy like that. Come on, you gonna get some heat behind.
But for me, like for that whole incident, I think that's what kind of did it for me to say, like, you know what, like Meek did all that talking about Drake writing and calling him out and doing all that stuff, and knowing the pedigree Meek comes from, I was just prepared. I was prepared for Meek to go in on Drake.
Right. Everybody did.
Then the way it played out. So even before back to back, Drake dropped the first record, and it was like a little like, take that, right? Meek didn't respond. Then Drake dropped back to back. So that even the title itself, Drake said, you know what, this man didn't respond yet. I'm about to drop another record and call it back to back, like and compared it to him going back to back on the feelings.
Yeah, I can't front. He executed it's the whole he
ever.
Executed. Yeah. I can't lie.
And then when Meek Mill did respond with that Undertaker sample, I was like, man.
Yeah, I can't lie. Drake definitely executed, but like the whole, everything surrounding him,
with the narrative.
Yeah, but you understand like the whole narrative that leads up to.
And you know what too? I think plays into this as well. I think it kind of plays into like his whole, really, like even after that, even after the back-to-back thing went over, even when that went away, like when Drake died down, like even with people like saying, can he respond? I think even shortly after that, Meek goes back in. Meek goes into prison. So then Meek goes into prison. So now I think it's like, all right, now this man's serving time. So I think that was a big buzz. Like when Meek comes out of prison, like if he comes out of prison, because they was really sticking it to him for no reason. That was messed up.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a lot. I think a lot of people were looking at it and saying like that's a lot to come back from. You just came off a terribly executed rap beef. You going now? You've been locked down in prison. Like and prison for a lot of rappers is like the biggest deterrent of their like process. Like I mentioned Shine on a couple episodes ago. Like I think the worst thing that happened to Shine is him going to jail and coming out like his creative juice was gone. So I think a lot of people looked at Meek Mill in that sense, like, okay, when he comes out, like what's gonna happen? Like he came off this bad beef, he spent his time in jail. He doesn't have a classic quote unquote yet. Is Meek Mill come out with something worth listening to? I think that's what a lot of people are saying. Now, to his credit, I will say this: he comes out and drops streams and championships, and in my opinion, like is his best work. Like he comes out and drops for me. I say, and again,
I agree.
not a big fan. I say like comes out, drops. His first classic album, in my opinion.
And the records he was dropping during that time he was beefing with were pretty good too. But a lot of people were just so, you know what I mean, and you know, so into back to back and what Drake had going on.
Hey, listen.
You know what I mean?
I'm about to play devil's advocate.
Go ahead.
Does Meek Mill reconciling with Drake and throwing the beef out the window, and not only throwing the beef out the window, appearing at OVO Fest with Drake, performing the record, but to also feature Drake on the next album and to feature him on this single, does that help Meek Mill come back? Because Going Bad is a smash. When I heard Going Bad the first time, I'm like, okay, Meek got I was like, yo, Meek got something with this one, like for real. Like when I hear Championships, like I feel like Championships is what Dreams Worth More Than Money was supposed to be. Like when I heard Dreams Worth More Than Money the first time, like it was feature heavy, like it was definitely this radio sound like he was reaching for. So I saw what he was trying to do, but like for me, like it was commercially successful, so it did numbers, like it did great. But for me as a rap fan, it didn't connect. It didn't come off as organic. But when Championships comes out, again feature heavy, but like the records that came out of it, it still had an organic Meek sound,
right?
But it was able to put those things out. It had a lot of different sounds. It still was Meek, but it had those organic radio records that were still like and think about even the records that weren't singles. Like we think about like What's Free, like with the Rick Ross and Jay-Z feature. Like
remember that Jay
verse alone was talking about verse of the year.
Was talking about verse, yeah.
And Meek was on that record.
But Wayne, I really think that you're overhyping the back to back. Like there's records you gotta think about, like No Vaseline. You gotta think about Who Shot You. You gotta think about
who shot you.
But you know what though, Jose?
Who shot you on this record?
Hey,
you gotta think about
not to cut you off. But I feel like everything surrounding back to back is what really. It was
the people hyped that record up. It was like the diss records that I'm listening.
I was not a fan of back to back, to be honest.
I wasn't either.
I thought it was very clever. Like I said, everything surrounding it. And I feel like and I agree with Wayne though. It was definitely calculated.
Listen to me. 10 years from now, we're still gonna be talking about back to back.
And you never say anything about Exodus or what is it? I'm just saying.
I don't want to go there yet, though.
Exodus is good. I want to finish what it's not gonna be memorable. It's not a big record in it.
But Wayne, to come to your point, do you feel like it's a weakness that Meek Mill was featured at OVO Fest? Did records with Drake? Are you saying that? I'm
not saying it's a weakness. I'm just asking, like, does that? Because I never thought about it just now. I like, does him burying the hatchet and realigning himself with Drake? Does that help? Does that help him in the stratosphere of like? I think a lot of people bought back into Meek Mill. Like they're like, okay, Meek Mill's like, because to me, when Meek Mill comes out of jail, he comes out a new person almost. Like he still had the same fire per se, but like his thought process. And I think a lot of people give him a lot of flack about it too, because Meek Mill comes out almost with this level of consciousness too. Like you see him doing the police reform. You see him like you see him out doing a lot of things, like a lot more things after he comes out of prison. So I think him bearing the hatchet with Drake, I think that gets a lot of people back on his side.
It does. It's a great
if he doesn't, I don't know if he gets the same response.
It's a great industry move. I think it had to be done.
True.
Yeah, I think it had to be done, like you said, to get those fans back on his side, and for the anticipation for championships. It's definitely a great move, you know what I mean? And they say, not a weakness or anything like that.
I definitely think the weakness. To be honest, I think it's smart.
It's smart.
I think it's genius.
Very
to be honest.
smart.
I think it's
very
genius.
smart. Yeah, very smart.
And to throw him on a single is
they were cool before that too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Which was weird when they fell out.
Yeah, Meek was. Meek would probably say he was going through. He was high, and you know what I mean? Because he did say coming out on interviews, right? He did say he was into the opiates real heavy. So
Yeah.
was that
Let me ask
the cause of some of his outlashes? You know what I mean? Him being under influence.
Let me ask this too, though. Let me ask this. So initially, like we know Wale. I haven't looked. I love Wale as an artist. Like, there's times that Wale says stuff. I'm like, yo, Wale, like you just get too in your feelings sometimes. So when Meek Mill and Wale initially fell out, I'm a bigger Wale fan, but I thought it was a product of Wale being Wale, right? But then after the string of stuff with Meek, I look back and reflected on it. I'm like, well, was it Wale or was it Meek?
It was Meek.
I wasn't a combination.
Yeah, it's always gonna be a combination. It's always gonna be. Go. What'd you say, Kurt? Go ahead.
I really think it was Meek in that situation. Like something you said before, Max. Meek Mill is kind of outspoken, and sometimes he may be too truthful, and it may rub people the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? So, and the industry, they say the industry is fake. Like people will work with people just to make a hit record, but I think in some instances, Meek Mill might be like, you know what?
He wears harmlessly.
There you go. You know what I'm saying? So
I will say that about Meek. Like Meek has always been like when I see him, like he's one of the artists I look at and I'm like, you know what? I believe him. Like this is a person like the things he says. Like I don't think he's saying it for clout. I don't think he's saying it to get a reaction. When Meek says something, I honestly feel like this is Meek's like this is his true feelings coming out.
Yeah.
So I will say he's, in my opinion, probably one of the most real people I've seen in rap. Because some guys I think they be reaching for a response. Like I they're saying this to get social media's ear, or to push a record or to push an album. Like Meek, I think Meek say what he feel at the moment, anytime, any given time.
So was that a false narrative to say that Meek is done and his career is over due to?
Oh, it definitely was.
No, they definitely. I can agree with that. Definitely was. I can definitely see it. So I can definitely see people. I can't really reflect back to when it happened, but I could definitely see people like in the rap game and definitely how it played out and the timetable of it, like with the Drake fumble, him going back into prison, him coming out. I could definitely see people saying like, okay, he's done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's a good one. Okay, good false narrative, Max. I like that.
Jose, did you want to talk about? I know you brought up Pusha T, and did you want to go ahead?
I mean,
we're gonna throw in a bonus topic. This record.
I mean, no, this is my thing with when it comes to the back to back. It's like, in my opinion, I feel like social media helped that record become what it was.
That's the part. But
hold on. But listen, I'm gonna give you a artist that people don't even think of. You remember when the gang was going after the whole G Unit?
300 bars?
The 300 bars of running? Oh my God. Like I'm talking about like literally bar for bar.
That's a great moment.
So it was like but I'm just saying it's like other discs, or it's like the No Vaseline, or I remember the disc record that Jay had, not Jay, but that Pac had, when he was talking about Hawaii Soki Fam. He was talking about
Mobb Deep. But the Hawaiian hit him up is like the joint.
You see what I'm saying? So
I get what you're saying too.
It's like
those records. Jose, it was a circus behind back to back. No lie.
It's like the other discs. It was like they built up organically, like the streets champion.
Listen. That's the thing, though. We gotta think about these records in the construct of what hip hop looked like at the time. So when the streets champion hit them up, when the streets champion No Vaseline, that was hip hop's audience. When Back to Back comes out, hip hop's audience is social media.
I disagree. You got powers in hip hop, like you got academics, and you got these characters that's really not in the.
That's a good point too, though. So
they add no to the fire.
But listen too. Think about it. If a diss record comes out today, like if a diss record comes out today, we know academics has a platform, right? For like say for example, if like one of the up and coming cats drops a record and academics like puts it out there and adds fuel to the fire and it pops off, like that's a platform, that's a part of hip hop now. That so I can't hold it on the same platform as because like we got to hold it in terms of what the game looks like at the time. Let's look at like Kool Moe Dee and LL Cool J. Like that was a very organic time in rap.
But
of course, the mainstream ain't gonna champion it, but those records were still great.
The people champion. You had social media like adding on. I'm talking about like everywhere you went.
But those
that's
are the
what
people.
You saw.
That's
you
the
thinking in your head, but it wasn't. But it was like other. Listen, even with Ether, some people say Ether like you. You say it's not a good dish.
I'm not saying it's not. No, let me clean that up. Not to say it's not a good dish. In terms of like the record itself, when we think about the record, like we look at like Jay-Z and Nas, right? The beef, Nas clearly won, right?
Yes.
But if we look at the records, Takeover is a much better diss record than Ether is as a diss record.
And you know what? I got a bone to pick with you too. This is my last thing. You know what's crazy is you put Drake on a pedestal where you say that he has a hold on. Yeah, let me finish. You put Drake on a pedestal where you're saying this record is top 5, but you got Pusha T that put out Exodus and put out the story of Adidon.
But listen,
let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. You got somebody like Pusha T that done put out diss records to where the artist not even gonna respond. They not listen. He shut the whole Cash Money up. They ain't even saying that no more.
But listen,
you ain't putting this record.
Hey, I like you right now.
I'm gonna use your battle. I'm gonna use your stance against you.
Okay, go ahead.
Because we're talking about this off the strength of Cash Money didn't respond. Let's talk about this. Pusha T is one of the best lyricists in the game, right?
Yes.
He puts out a record and no, Cash Money does not respond. Let's talk about Drake, who announcing himself as I'm not a lyrical guy. I'm not a hip hop pedigree guy. I put out a diss record and Meek Mill doesn't respond, who comes from that pedigree. How can we talk about Pusha T putting out a record that somebody didn't respond to, and Drake put out 2 records back to back, and Meek didn't say nothing for like 2 weeks later. Like the house was burning down for Meek to say anything.
But I think, listen, in my opinion, what I felt
I could just imagine Meek Mill in his house on social media, like.
I think that I think that Meek Mill had powers in his corner, telling him to focus on what he was doing and not respond. Because I really think that he wanted to do it.
You don't think nobody told Lil Wayne that?
Listen, Wayne did respond. It just wasn't good enough.
You don't think nobody?
He did.
You don't think nobody told Lil Wayne? Lil Wayne, like, don't do it.
He did respond. It was
did he make a clear cut? This is my response to Pusha T. Not a subliminal on a random record. Did he put out did Lil Wayne come out here and say I'm about to stand up for me and Cash Money and respond to Pusha T?
Pusha T did Drake so bad that Jay Prince had to come out and say that this nigga is acting like a pig. I'm talking about this. You see what
Drake that bad?
Listen, he did him bad. He did him bad.
I'm about to say something.
Go ahead.
Life of Adidon is an overrated record.
I think it's overrated.
People hype it. The biggest thing about Life of Adidon was the biggest thing about the record was the revelation that Drake had a child.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That was the biggest thing about it. Right.
Pusha T fan.
To be honest, a lot of people ran with the Pusha T Drake thing. Because to be honest, in my opinion, Duppy Freestyle was a solid diss record.
Yeah. I like Duppy better.
But
I'm a Pusha T fan, Kurt.
I'm gonna say this.
Jose.
I'm gonna say this. The Pusha T Drake beef ended how I thought the Drake Meek Mill beef was gonna end. I thought Meek Mill was gonna respond like, okay, I'm gonna shut this down. It's very similar, in my opinion. It's very similar to Takeover Ether. You have a diss record that's not as good as the previous diss record, but like the revelation and the things that the context and the content were so heavy, people automatically say, you know what, he won. It's same scenario. Because like when I look back at Jay-Z and Nas,
Mm-hmm.
Jay-Z comes out first and puts out Takeover, throws out all this information on Nas, Mobb Deep, all these people like, you like, whoa, like what's going on? And then Nas comes back with a response, a very abrasive response, not super lyrical, but it just coming at Jay-Z's head like bam, 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 bam. And the fans got behind it. Same thing with Drake, with Meek.
But I think that it definitely affected Drake personally. But as far as career wise, like
it didn't do that. It didn't do that.
It didn't do anything. But you can tell. But when he did that interview, hold on. When he did that interview, when he did those interviews during that time, you can tell he was like, really distraught about that.
It hurt his feelings.
Yeah, you can tell it hurt. You know what I'm saying?
I say this too though. Like I think he was more hurt by Kanye sharing the information than the difference.
Exactly. It's still a thing.
But that's my only thing about Drake fans is when they always talk about Meek, but they make excuses when it comes to Pusha T.
But that's my thing though. I don't think the Pusha T diss was lopsided. I think a lot of people said it was lopsided. I don't think it was lopsided though.
It was.
It was lopsided.
Because he's been going after them since 2013, boy. He's been going after them strong.
Listen, I'll be honest. We're not talking about I'd rather listen to Back to Back than Life of Adidon. We're
not talking about the whole body of work. We're not gonna talk about the whole body of work. Because really, to be honest, Pusha T been picking that Cash Money since like Mr. Me Too.
Yes, he has.
So I don't even include that. Because really, you think about it. To be honest, me and Max talked about this. Like Pusha T really has no reason to be mad at Drake.
I'm a Pusha T fan, yo.
Right, me too. I love Pusha T.
We love Pusha T guys.
But you know what? That's why I like.
We all are.
I do love it about Pusha T. I think I love it about Pusha T. That Pusha T is so savage, and I love his aggressiveness with it. Because you think about it, Pusha T is a rap bully. I'm about to pull Drake. I'm about to pull Drake into this, and he has nothing to do with it. But I'm about to pull you. You getting this too?
Right? Hey, yo, he just came. Remember, a couple weeks ago, he came on him on Pop Smoke album and Young Thug.
Yep.
It was like, yo, I don't want nothing to do with that, and because he didn't know, he didn't know he was coming at.
But at that point, you know what I say?
Crazy, man.
I say niggas is soft because this been going on before Drake. This been going on late 80s, early 90s. They was dissing. Nobody wasn't making no excuses. It was just like, you got to deal with that. And now when Drake get dissed to the point where he want to disappear,
but I think that's a.
You want to make excuses? Come on, man.
I don't think he disappeared, but listen, it's not. That's fan talk. That's fan talk. Fans gonna talk because the same thing with Jay-Z and Nas. That's fan talk. There's gonna be people out here be like who gonna talk, gonna champion Jay-Z all day. Mm-hmm. I heard people say Super Ugly was a good response, and it wasn't. Super Ugly was terrible.
Super Ugly was terrible.
Terrible. But the fans are gonna talk, and this is the thing about rap fans too. Rap fans, and I think this is what I don't like about rap. Rap fans are going to feel the need to choose a side. They feel the need to pick.
But there was no social media. There was no social media back then to where people can. You put out the record and then
but people still did it though. People still did it. People still chose sides. People still we could choose any rap beef and people choose sides, right? We can look back at Jay-Z and not Jay-Z, LL Cool J Cannabis.
Yep.
Like Cannabis got destroyed, but people were riding for Cannabis. Like, yo, you didn't really like you didn't do like that. But I'm not saying like the fans are always. I think it comes down to. I only look at that and people making excuses when it comes to the artist. When I hear the artist come out and say, for example, a good example of this is 50 Cent and Ja Rule.
Yes.
When Ja Rule got killed and Ja Rule responded and put out Blood in My Eye, and then when Blood in My Eye doesn't do numbers, Ja Rule comes out and says, I did that album for myself. No, you didn't. If you did an album for yourself, you would have recorded it and left it in the catalog, and you'd be like, okay, I feel good now. You ain't did an album for yourself. You did an album to respond, and it flopped.
I feel
so that's an example of people like I only hold people accountable that when it's the artist coming out saying like this is why I took whatever. Drake never came out and said Drake never came out and said like no I lost because XYZ.
I'm not saying that
Jay-Z
freestyle was trash. It was good, but it was just Pusha T just had a better counterattack. and
That
it
kind of,
showed.
in my opinion, that
And
counterattack wasn't that solid. I think, but I think
it
that's the, I
was.
think,
The
but I think
counterattack was so good to the point where the
it
artist
wasn't
didn't
that,
even put in.
that good. It wasn't that good. Exodus
I
is
mean,
leaps and bounds better than Life
Oh
of
yeah.
Adidon.
Oh yeah. Without a doubt.
But no one, but that's my point. When I say back to back, in my opinion, the top 5 disc record, I consider everything that goes into it. Like people would champion Life of Adidon as being a great disc record, but in the context of a record, it's not a great disc record in my opinion. Like I look at when I talk about, well, maybe that's my stance and my looking at it. I tend to look at the records. I tend to look at the rollout. I tend to look at the response behind it. Because when I think about Takeover and Ether, to be honest, like I think of those both being great disc records because of not just the record, but the rollout. You look at Takeover. I remember hearing Takeover on the radio. Like I
but
remember
listen,
hearing it. And I remember people calling people like, "Yo, Jay-Z is dissing Nas and Prodigy on a record on Hot 97." And then I remember Jay-Z going to Summer Jam and putting a picture of Prodigy up on the Summer Jam stream. Like that was all a part of it.
But Wayne, imagine if Ether came out now. Like that would have been
Exactly. The
it
social
would
media
have
would have
been
went crazy.
it would have
or
been
Takeover.
ugly.
If
It would have
listen
been
now,
ugly.
if Takeover, listen, that's a good conversation, man. If Takeover comes out today, but really, it had a similar feeling because it went to Hot 97, like because when Blueprint came out, we hadn't heard Takeover prior to Blueprint being like put out to the mainstream, right? Blueprint was coming out the next day. Funk Flex had a hold of it. He was playing it the day before on the radio. He was playing the records. He played Takeover, and people were like, "Yo, Jay-Z got a diss record about Nas and Prodigy on Hot 97." So the streets, like that's what it was. That was the medium. So Hot 97 was Instagram in 2000 in 2003 in 2001. You know what I'm saying? So I think the response and the fans getting behind it plays into how big the records are.
But something else you never mentioned though, when it comes to the Adidon story, right? You only said the shock value was Drake had a child, but he also talked about Drake's father not being in his life and Drake's mother being.
We knew that.
But
That wasn't a punch.
but
Though,
I'm just saying. There
in my opinion,
there was a lead up to that. He didn't start off with that. There was a lead up.
I'm not saying that's not a lead up. I'm saying the biggest thing about Life of Adidon, the punch about that record was Drake has a child you don't know about, and he got a line coming out. Because he literally named the record after his line that coming out.
What was the punchlines in the Drake when the Drake freestyle? We already knew that about Pusha T.
I'm not saying we don't know it. In my opinion, right? The power, the strength of, for me, the strength of Drake's diss records, the diss record he's put out. I don't consider Drake from the same pedigree as a Pusha T or a Meek Mill. So for him to put out a record and for him to have quality punches, the quality punches that he has, to me, says a lot for him. Like when he says, like, for him to bring up the idea of him, like he brings up like when he showed his career back before he became a rapper, like he referencing stuff like way back when he talks about his love of the clips. So it shows a level of vulnerability. He's like, yeah, I'm a fan of you. And then he talks about the microphone. He talks about the microphone he has, and he even says it from the interview, like, I don't even know this is a real microphone that Pusha T signed, right? But when he says, and he talks about the signature faded in the interview way back when he talks about the microphone and the signature faded, that's exactly what been happening lately. Like he makes the correlation between they're falling out.
Yeah, that W freestyle is
like he has some quality punches and some quality callbacks that I don't expect from an artist like Drake.
For me, that record
that puts it on another level.
Under radar, like W freestyle was
like it goes under the radar because of the response. I think like there's the Life of Adidon, like I think Drake having a child that we don't know about is such big
That's
news.
shock value. Very.
And the fact that Pusha throws out the man's Adidas line out there, you're like, yo, this is so sad. But that's why I love Push, because he's so cutthroat and he's so savage. Like I don't care. And it caught fire, and Drake drowned in it.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, he drowned.
Yeah.
But like W Freestyle is a solid record that goes under the radar because of what happened.
And I like W Freestyle better than I like Life Without Edit On. Like, you know what I mean?
I do too. I do too. Like I don't really like to be honest. Infrared is a much better diss record than Life Added On.
I like Infrared. Infrared is my joint.
Infrared is my joint. Like, I rock with Infrared.
That's my joint. That's my joint.
But again, that's why I take my stance on it when I rank diss records. The record that when we talk about the beef, the Pusha and Drake beef, the record that comes up is Life of Adidon. In my opinion, if we were to pull every record involved in this beef, Life of Adidon is probably the worst record. But it's the record that gets the most attention. Because in my opinion, Infrared's a much better record. In terms of the beef, Infrared's a much better record. Exodus is a much better record. Duppy Freestyle is a much better record. Even before Drake gets pulled into it, Mr. Me Too is a much better record. But the record that gets brought up is the record that brings the most media attention.
Yeah.
So I think media attention plays a lot into rap beef, and that's what makes rap beef so big.
And that's how I feel about back to back. And that's how I feel.
But that's what. And I guess that's why.
No, back to back had some punches.
Yeah,
some punches in there. There's some punches. There's some punches.
There's some differences. This is a good conversation. I like this.
Yeah.
That's a good false narrative. Well, in fact, that wasn't even a false narrative. We just got talking about rap.
That was another topic.
That's a whole nother topic.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I guess we'll wrap up there. Anything anybody want to plug? Shameless plug.
I want to send a condolences, rest in peace, to Mr. Foster, aka Pops. He's my brother's father-in-law, but I consider family too. So, lost his life a couple days ago. Really strong man. I consider him like a man's man, if you understand, like just strong mentally. You know what I mean?
Right.
Skilled and to business and different things and being responsible, and later on in life being successful. So definitely condolences and rest in peace to him.
That's real. So. R.I.P. Pops. That's real.
He Pops.
Yes, sir.
You got anything to plug, Jose?
I think. Wayne, you had a show recently.
Oh yes, had a show this past Tuesday.
Man, I'm just working, man. That's it.
Jose working. I had a show this past Tuesday. R&B Grill went pretty well. Catch me on Tuesday. The R&B Grill open mic 8:00 every Tuesday on 2 Notch. Merch coming real soon.
Interview.
Oh yeah.
Don't you have an interview coming up?
So just did an interview Monday. Catch me on Monday. I'm gonna be on the Michael Finkley show. Check the interview out. I'm gonna drop the link on the page. We got merch in the works. Got the sample in. The Mr. Nettles merch. The Mr. Nettles merch is coming. The Mr. Nettles merch is coming. We got the stickers in. So Mr. Nettles merch is on the way. We got some Last and HipHop merch is in the works. We got some designs we're working on. We're gonna get that coming to you real soon. But yeah, so we working real hard. I think the live stream went very well, very interactive, very engaging.
Drop the comments, man. Whatever y'all want to talk about,
Shout out to the support. The fan base is growing. We're pushing toward 500 followers now. So let's keep it growing. Let's keep it organic. Continue to follow us. Continue to support us. Continue to support our individual Instagram pages. You can see our Instagram handles in the corner at Maximilian.s, at Mr. Nettles, and at King Jose Rivera. Follow us as well. Make sure you stay in tune with what we're doing. But been great so far. The ride's been amazing. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the everything so far, man. It's been an amazing ride so far.
Yeah, man. Another great show,
Another great show in the books.
In the books.
Another great show in the books. On that note,
amen.
On that note, we out. Peace.
Yes, sir.